What's up, folks? This is your man, Jack Gill Podcast, where everything is talked about. And today I have another nugget for you, man. This is a political day. The political part is getting crazy and crazy. It's getting crazy and crazy. So I don't know what we need to do. But before I get going, folks, like for you to like, share, and subscribe this content. And make sure you get it out to a friend, a brother, sister, cousin. Let's get it going. Like, share, and subscribe. This is your man, Jack Gill, folks, back with you. And just in general, just talking about the craziness that is going on in this country. I've been saying it. The Trump train is rolling through your town, through your city, through your state, and it's getting more and more full of craziness. With all the crazy things that he's saying, all the crazy things that his folks were saying, all the conspiracy theories, and people are believing the craziness. People are still thinking that the 2020 election was stolen. And in my opinion, I think the one election that was stolen was the 2016 election. That was the election that was stolen. He always crying about election interference. What about 11,780? That is by election interference. So if you want to keep that crying and talking about election interference and all these crazy things that goes on, and for the speeches that he's holding and rallies and calling migrants animals or not humans, and bloodbath in the street if he doesn't win the election, and talking about the anti-Semitic statements against Jews and blacks. What the hell you think is going to happen to this country? Folks, we are fighting to keep our democracy. There's no ifs and buts about it. We are fighting to keep a democracy. And we just cannot stop hearing about it. We have to keep hearing the issues and understanding what they are. For some of you that goes to work and don't care or don't pay attention, we're just going to go vote when it's time to vote. What's the crazy part about it? Democrats don't even vote in primaries, right? But guess who got a bunch of the most votes in primary history? The guy that don't have a memory, Joe Biden. His folks are going out and vote, and which is great. But we have to be aware, or woke in a sense, of the Donald Trump train that's rolling through your town or state. But I do have a clip I just wanted to play. Of course, there's so many of them. But I want to see, can I get this clip to play for me? And they're just talking basically about Donald Trump. I mean, let's listen to some of it.
Well, today, a racist con man who owes the state of New York $464 million told New York State's first African-American Attorney General, his words, "Keep your filthy hands off Trump Tower." Of course, because racist Donald Trump is also coward Donald Trump. He would not dare say that directly to the Attorney General. Instead, he said it to his followers online in another desperate request for their money. In his unhinged post, here it is, we printed it out, Donald Trump says, "Insane, radical Democrat Attorney General Letitia James wants to seize my properties in New York. This includes the iconic Trump Tower exclamation point." There it is, right there. Okay. couple of things about Trump Tower. There's nothing iconic about it. It is a plain and boring looking office building with mixed use, including some apartments in Midtown Manhattan, that looks like
This because, folks, that he is broke. He don't have the money that he claimed to be the hoodwink you guys for. All your donation, hard-earned money that you sent to this clown. What has he done with it? Enriching himself. He don't have the money, but he's supposed to be some sort of billionaire. What a con man. Here we go.
every other plain, boring office building. No, get those pictures down. That's not Trump Tower. Do not put up those pictures. Those are iconic buildings. Don't put those up when we're talking about Trump Tower. Trump Tower looks like every other boring box that surrounds it in Midtown Manhattan. Iconic buildings in New York, of course, include the Empire State Building, the Chrysler Building, there they are, whose profiles are known around the world. And there are dozens of architecturally important, beautiful buildings, not quite as famous worldwide as the Empire State Building and the Chrysler Building, including the Flatiron Building and many others. Trump Tower, so-called, will never be on a list of iconic or important buildings in New York. And Trump Tower is not a tower by New York City standards. There are over 100 buildings in Manhattan taller than Donald Trump's building that he calls a tower. You can't pick out Trump Tower from an airplane landing at a New York airport or from anywhere else in New York. The only way you know you're looking at Trump Tower is if you're standing right in front of it and seeing that name on the building. That building is going to be torn down someday, like most of the buildings around it, and replaced by a better building. And no one will miss it.
No one will
On Monday, Donald Trump will run out of time to come up with the money that would allow him to protect his assets from seizure while he is appealing the $464 million civil judgment against him for business fraud in New York State. Telling the Attorney General to keep her hands off Trump Tower sounds like Donald Trump doesn't think he's going to be able to come up with the money that would prevent the Attorney General from putting a lien on that building. And if that's the case, we are about to find out how much of that building Donald Trump actually owns, if any. Because as of Tuesday of next week, Attorney General Letitia James might be going full speed ahead in the process of eventually possibly forcing the sale of Trump properties in order to pay the judgment Donald Trump owes the state of New York. Andrew Weissmann.
All right, folks. I cut it off there for a little bit. I just didn't want to keep hearing his name for one thing. And it's the reason why I cut it off. But this is the issue that we have, man. These politicians are so crazy, so full of it. We have gone from the impeachment of a President Biden to digging into his son's life that has no political input. Of course, you're going to use your parents' name if your parents are wealthy or very influenced in the community or wherever they go, or if they are some kind of important person. Of course, you're going to use their name. Why not? I mean, everyone's looking for the edge. But the way that we are pursuing these crazy things, the way 45 cronies are doing things or having the platform to say things and to divert from what is really the main issue of this country, that we have a deranged man that is trying to recover the most powerful man in the world position. And that's the issue that we're having in this country. And to me, that is astonishing that he even has a chance to be back where he's at. I just don't understand what are we looking at? What do we want in this country? Do we want a democracy or we want a dictatorship? That is the issue that I have. And with all the criminal charges that this guy has, how the judges or the justices are delaying for him. And you got clowns like James Comer, Jim Jordan of the world, DeMarjorie Trader Greens of the world, that are some kind of way helping them out, right? Diverting to other things, to bring up stuff like the border and all these other craziness, and the Biden investigation, calling all these prosecutors out of their name because they are doing the America's bidding work, right? If you're a criminal, we're going to prosecute you. How he took his own lawyer that has worked with him for years and years. He was the fixer at one point. He goes to jail from it. Everybody around this clown goes to jail. Then he goes and tries to defame and demoralize the DA in Georgia, but she's strong. She's a strong black woman. Then you have the Supreme Court that allows all this craziness for him to continue because they are biased. 6 Republican justice that we don't need, right? We don't need a Supreme Court. And how stupid they are. If this clown gets back in office, we don't need a Supreme Court. So why are they allowing it? They don't see, people don't even look outside the box. People just live in day to day. And I understand that. But sometimes you have to take 5 to 10 minutes of your life and understand what's going on outside of the box of your circle. You have to understand what is trying to go down and be prepared and understand and educate yourself. You have to be educated to understand certain things in life. Now, this guy doesn't have the money to cover the massive judgment that was against him, $450 million or $500 million. But all along since he came down the escalator, I'm the rich guy, I'm the rich man, I'm this, I'm that, and taking millions and millions of dollars from his followers. And they still haven't caught on. Now, he might have the money. He might be doing the old hokey doke, right? Getting someone to pay it for him. Then he still can live his lavish lifestyle. That's what he's doing. But as of today, no one is willing to take the bait. Now he's struggling. Now he's trying to find out how he's going to do it. I mean, I'm quite sure the justice system will come up with something and use his nomination as a conservative party leader, that they'll give him a break. Some kind of way they will. But it just goes to show the drift and that they're doing to you guys. That's what it shows. Oh, I'm the richest guy. I'm a rich guy. I'm a rich guy. I'm a rich guy. Then when a chicken comes home to roost, he's nowhere near that rich guy. But people's been saying it for years. His closest allies has been telling you about the game that he's been playing. The mob boss. Now he's the coat boss. He wants to be a king or dictator. He might not have his assets come Tuesday morning, folks. If he doesn't get the money, everything will be seized. Now what? Let's just take it a step further. What if he doesn't win the election? Now what? So we have to prepare ourselves. We have to stay woke. Be aware what is going around you. And you have to understand that. Pay attention to your local, your state, and your national news, folks. Understand what is going on. What are people trying to do to your life? They're trying to take your freedom away. And that cannot happen. You got to look at the future for your family, your kids, their kids. You have to understand what we are going through. And the most crazy part about it, the national media never run this stuff 24/7. You never see it on your local news. It's all about how defiant he was at his rallies, and he likes to lie about his rallies. But if they ever turn the camera around, they'll see it's not as much as he said it is. Man, you can't make this stuff up. Folks, this has been your man, Jack Gill Podcast Show, where everything is talked about. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell, folks, because I will be coming back with another nugget later on, talking about these politics. You can't make this stuff up. And remember, don't let anyone tell you that you cannot succeed. You first must love yourself before anyone else can love you. Peace.